Hey guys, this is Lomax, The Adventures of Lomax for the PlayStation 1. This was put out in 1996 by Psygnosis, and to be honest with you, it's a really, really high quality 2D platformer, which at the time was poorly received, and quite frankly I don't think a lot of people gave it a chance. There's a lot to it, it's actually a lot of depth. It's got your classic sort of Lemmings visual style, but blown up to the absolute max. I mean, as you're watching this footage, it's so diverse, it's so detailed, and the animations are just sublime. You know, visually, and maybe it's just me being crazy here, but visually, to me, this is an absolute stunner. I mean, this just, it shits all over Rayman, and Rayman's absolutely brilliant on the PlayStation. But yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of the Lemmings trademarks. You actually unlock some of the Lemmings abilities later on in the game, like the basher ability, the ability to create platforms, you know, the builder ability, and that actually is incorporated really well into the 2D gameplay. And as you see, there is some sort of 3D elements to this as well. But the highlight for me is the diversity. Also the music, it's classic Lemmings, it's really high quality. It's not the exact same songs you've heard in other Lemmings games, but the themes are quite similar. And you know, it just gives you a general good feeling while you're playing it. Apparently there's over 40 levels of this game, and this isn't a review, this is just me having a quick bash at it. I played about 6 of those levels, and they're just absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look. I mean, it's just having a look at what's going on the screen. There's a lot of diversity to the gameplay, as well as the visual style, like this bit for instance, where you're running backwards on the battle, which is so awesome. I mean, the gist of it is your general platformer. You want to get from one end of the level to the other. Along the way you'll unlock abilities, and you also rescue Lemmings. And for some reason the Lemmings are held, but basically they become evil, I guess, and then when you beat them up they become good again. But the evil Lemmings just look so cool in this, and you'll probably get to see one in a minute, but this is one of my favourite sections, just because it was so diverse. The controls are quite sensitive. There is arguably a problem with them. I mean, they're quite, maybe they're too sensitive, they're a tad oversensitive. For the sake of this video, I've removed a lot of the parts where I fall down and die, because it's just, you know, it doesn't make for good watching, but this game is really hard due to the controls. It's also really fast. For the majority of this footage, I'm not using the run button, and yeah, the fact that there's a run button in this is just insane, because this game runs so quickly as it is. I mean, it's got a solid, silky smooth frame rate, on top of the fact that it's just a fast-paced game. Let's have a look what else we have here. I mean, this is one of my favourite sections of this level. Just awesome. It looks so good, it plays so good. What else can you ask for? Like I say, I'd easily put this up there with Rayman as one of the best 2D platformers on the PlayStation. In fact, it's one of the best 2D platformers of its generation, because this is just hands down one of the best experiences you can get if you're into 2D platformers. You know, I just don't understand where the negative reviews came from when it came out, other than to say it's 1996, people were playing 3D games, maybe there wasn't a place for this kind of 2D platformer, which is understandable. I mean, Raiden Project, which is another good 2D compilation for the PlayStation, got poor reviews when it came out, and a lot of them slandered it for being dated, you know, which it was, but at the end of the day it was a solid arcade perfect port of a game that, you know, up until that point you never have played on the home consoles to any of that kind of degree. It just wasn't that good. But yeah, the same rule applies for Lomax, I think. I mean, it'd been interesting to see if some websites went back and reviewed this now, if it was released for something like the iPhone, or maybe something too tricky to go up there. Perhaps PSP, or even Xbox Live Arcade, PlayStation Network. It would be absolutely ideal for that. According to the back of the box, as I said, there's over 40 levels, and apparently some of the levels are 10 layers deep. And you might have noticed in the early footage of this that I showed at the beginning of the video, you actually walk to and from the sort of 3D, you walk in a 3D effect to the next 2D environment. And yeah, that's something they evidently use quite a lot in this game. It just looks so good. So as you go along, you collect coins as well. You free the Lemmings. If you see the Lemmings, when you rescue them, they fly off with the umbrellas. I mean, that's such a good touch. You know, you can't fault this game for being just a cheap sort of knockoff, because there were a lot of cheap Lemmings games, tacky ones, you know, a lot of sequels. There was Lemmings Paintball, which wasn't much fun, Lemmings 3D, which was absolutely horrible, but this really dedicates itself to the license. It absolutely reeks of Lemmings in the best possible way, and if you're a fan like I am, then this is just a joy to play. It's got all the sound effects there, it's got all the personality of Lemmings as well, but obviously done to the extreme, because the original Lemmings, as great as it is, was a very basic game with basic pixels, so there wasn't a lot of expression or emotion in those. Whereas in this one, you just look at Lomax as he jumps along. There's so much expression in what he's doing. The way the wind blows through his hair when he's running, his cape blows back, the lids popping off of those pots there. It's just absolutely insane. As you go along, you meet those sort of wizard guys, and they work as a tutorial. They'll tell you what to do as you're going along, and tell you how to use the new abilities, which you really have to read, because I was playing through quite a bit of this game without realising I should be pressing square to use the abilities. I'll cover the controls in a minute. Yeah, X is a jump, unsurprisingly. If you hit X a second time, you do that dash, which will kill, so far, any enemy. So you can basically just constantly mash X, as long as you don't fall off the platform. R1 makes you run faster, which is, like I say, kind of needless. The circle button throws this hat at enemies, which is a good attack, but all the while you can just rapidly press X, and you don't kind of need to use it. If you press select, it basically brings up a grid, a selection of your abilities, and you'll pick up literally, you'll get 5 bashes, or you'll get 5 building bricks, and you press select, it pauses the game while you cycle through the menu, press select again, select it, and then use it. It's just, the game is so rewarding, it's so much fun. So this is the last level I got to, and just look at it, it looks absolutely brilliant. Gorgeous, so much going on in the background and the foreground, and this is one of the levels where you make the switch. There you go. It's a little bit sort of clanky the way you go across there, but the principle of it is just fantastic. So here we go again, and it just looks brilliant. Like I say, I can't recommend this game enough. Every time I play it, I just can't put it down. It's absolutely brilliant, and it just gets no love. So if you like the look of this, by all means seek it out, or just look it up on the internet. Do anything you can to play this game. It's utterly brilliant.